principle is by comparison, a relatively simple decision, because we have considered this for a long time. And keeping, or rather, which would be an affirmative to your question, but personally I would rather not pass an opinion on this one. I think you will have to make up your own mind as to the reasons for the delay. I must express my disappointment, as I have in my letter to Mr. Wilson, that we did not have an opportunity of discussing this before I left, particularly in view of the fact that I stayed over for an additional 2 days.
Prime Minister, do you think that the reason for this was to get you out of the way, so to speak?
Well, I think I have already said that you will have to make up your own mind as far as that question is concerned.
Mr. Scott,
I understood you say that you've made up your minds already on the decision in principle. Can we ask in what direction you make up your mind?
I again think that this is ancient. Here was before you.
Scott Sunday Mail, sir. In the event of a UDI, what do you see the position of the government, Sir Humphrey Gibbs?
A very difficult position.
Will your normal weekly cabinet meeting take place tomorrow morning?
I should imagine so. Of course, we've got to get on with running the country in between discussions on independence. I would point this out. The everyday running of the country has to go on.
I think you did say last week, sir, that you would take the decision at your next cabinet meeting. Will this be the one?
Well, if there is a cabinet meeting tomorrow, then it is possible that a decision will be made.
Would you announce the decision immediately after, sir?
Well, as soon as I feel disposed to announce it, I will make the announcement.
There is just a little piece in the stock press in the Herald that says that Mr. Van der Bijl says in the event of a UDI, all Malawians and Zambians would be expatriated. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't think you have correctly interpreted what Mr. Van der Bijl has said. I think he was reiterating something that I have said on many occasions, that if as a result of UDI, sanctions were imposed on Rhodesia, and as a result of these sanctions, we found that there was a recession, and as a result of this, people became unemployed, then obviously the alien workers in this country, I believe, would have to be repatriated in order to provide work for the indigenous people. I believe this is what Mr. Van der Bijl was referring to.
Prime Minister, Health, Christian Science Monitor. You anticipate a break in relations with Zambia as a result of UDI?
No. If there is a break, I can assure you it will not be from anything done by the Rhodesian government. And moreover, I have written a letter to the President of Zambia informing him of this and telling him that even in the event of a UDI, we will not interfere with the services to Zambia and the traditional trade that takes place between our countries.
Prime Minister, excuse me for returning to the race relations question, but it's obviously fundamental. You said that it is not the policy of your government to lessen these contacts. Is it the policy of your government to increase them? And can you give us some specific evidence of this?
Yes, we have said often, and actually we are on the record of having done a number of things, such as the creation of multiracial areas in areas that were previously European areas. And I can tell you that within the last month, such a decision has been made and actually implemented by government. So there is a concrete example. And we believe that we should deal with these things as and when the need arises. Gentleman behind the last one.
Mr. Prime Minister, is it clear from what you've said about the decision in principle that when and if you do make an announcement, the contents will only refer to the manner in which the decision in principle that has already been taken will be implemented?
No, if a decision is made in principle, then it won't refer to the manner of implementation. It will simply refer to the principle that has been determined.
Keats United Press. When you make this decision, don't you envisage that Britain may immediately take action against you? Because once you've made the decision, you are therefore, the way is obvious. So do you think that these sanctions that are spoken about will come into operation immediately?
Well, we'll wait and see, I think.
If they do, what will be your move then, sir?
Well, we will, of course, act in keeping with the decisions and the actions that are taken against us. One cannot in advance indicate what these things will be.
Prime Minister, is there the remotest chance that the decision, which we keep referring to, could be something other than a decision for a unilateral declaration of independence?
Well, if you can put 2 and 2 together and get anything other than 4, that's over to you.
I wanted to ask if you have the support of letters and telegrams from South Africa in large numbers. What was the content of those? Were they for you or against you, or were they neutral, or what?
Well, I can tell you that my office here, and Rhodesia House in London, has been completely inundated with messages of goodwill from all over the world. Certainly a large number from South Africa, which is understandable because they have always been one of our closest and one of our best friends. From the United Kingdom itself, an incredible number of messages. From the United States of America, from Canada, from Australia. In fact, I had a message from Australia from a certain gentleman there who actually offered me an army in support of Rhodesia's battle.
If the decision that is finally made is against the UDI, will that also equally be announced?
Well, I think it is obvious that if a decision is given, it must be one way or the other. So if it... Yes?
Mr. David Hogan, Sunday Times, you just spoke to South Africa as one of our oldest and best friends. Could you give an assurance that if you do declare UDI, you will not thereafter adopt anything like the apartheid policy of South Africa?
No, at the moment I can tell you that it is not our intention to adopt the apartheid policy of South Africa or the integration policy of the United Kingdom. We follow the Rhodesian policy, and this is our intention to continue this. Gaunt is private and confidential to myself. Yes, but this will be a very complicated algebraic equation, and I don't think you'll be able to work it out. To work that one out yourself. I'm sorry I can't give you the answer to that. Well, I have often said that I believe this is not necessary. In fact, I believe this would be a disservice to Rhodesia to once more subject them to an exercise such as this. We have given this matter very serious thought and are honestly and genuinely convinced that this would be a disservice to Rhodesia.
Prime Minister, something dramatic and unforeseeable could come up. Have you been able to think of anything dramatic that might conceivably delay your decision?
No.
Prime Minister, has the OAU conference or the Afro-Asian meeting have anything to do with your timing as far as the implementation of UDI is concerned?
I don't know anything about these organizations.